And greetings, everyone, and welcome to Buzz for Good, where we talk all things nonprofit, the people they serve, and the good they do. And on today's show, I am buzzing about Commonwealth Catholic Charities, and specifically its vital role welcoming to our country, our region, some of the most incredible and inspiring people you will ever meet. These people that are unfortunately increasingly under attack by our very government. And I'm talking about immigrants and refugees. And I am honored to chat with Commonwealth Catholic Charities' Samim Noorzad, whose amazing journey from his native Afghanistan to Roanoke, Virginia is sure to uplift you, along with Khalefia Dungee and volunteer extraordinaire Beth Ruffing. We will talk about an upcoming event of theirs for which I am very excited to provide some buzz. My name is Michael Hemphill. I'm the creator and host of the TV show Buzz that airs on public television, where we feature the great work of nonprofit organizations and the marketing professionals affiliated with the American Advertising Federation of Roanoke, who donate their time and talents helping these life-giving organizations achieve more buzz. And you can follow along on my website, buzzforgood.com. That's buzz, B-U-Z-Z, 4 good.com. As well as my social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok, all at Buzz for Good. And on our YouTube channel, we just launched our newest episodes highlighting the Roanoke, Virginia Center that helps folks struggling with mental health and addiction issues on our own of the Roanoke Valley, as well as the Alabama nonprofit, the Hank Poor Foundation, that provides adaptive recreational devices for people confined to a wheelchair. And speaking of Buzz, we learned this week that Buzz has received 4 Emmy Award nominations. Very excited about that. In the category of documentary historical, our episode starring the Franklin County NAACP Raising the Shade, which honors the untold history of 70 African-American men who fought for the Union and freedom in the Civil War in the United States Colored Troops. In the business consumer category, our episode on the Greater Williamson Road Area Business Association. In diversity, equity, and inclusion, our episode featuring Masterpiece Alliance, which provides community and friendship for adults with intellectual disabilities. And in the category of education schools, our episode on Elamisha Kakuma, which connects refugees from war-torn African countries now confined to a refugee camp in Kakuma, Kenya, with higher education opportunities around the world, including Virginia Tech. So head over to our YouTube channel, check out our newest episodes, as well as these episodes that have now been nominated for an Emmy Award. Now, the awards gala is June 20th, so win or lose, I will keep you posted. Though I must agree with the saying, it truly is an honor to be nominated. But enough about me. Let's hear about the impactful work being done by Commonwealth Catholic Charities as it prepares for a free community-wide event on June 17th to share its mission helping refugees from around the world find community and a home in Roanoke, Virginia. And it is my pleasure to welcome here to Buzz for Good 3 fine folks from Commonwealth Catholic Charities as they prepare for the June 17th Real Hope event at Grandin Theater. We have here Samim Noorzad, Beth Ruffing, and Khalefia Dungee. And why don't we start by just having each of you introduce yourselves, and let's start with Samim if we could.
Thank you, Michael. My name is Samim Noorzad. I am a resettlement program supervisor with Commonwealth Catholic Charities. I have been involved in some capacity with Commonwealth Catholic Charities since late 2016. Till now, I have worked with different programs and related to refugee resettlement.
Wonderful. Okay. And you also have a personal story about how you first got involved with Commonwealth Catholic Charities, which we'll get to later on in the show. But now let's transition. We have Beth Ruffing.
Yes. Thank you for having us. I have been asked to serve on the Roanoke Advisory Board of Commonwealth Catholic Charities, and there's several silos of things that Catholic Charities does, nurturing children and families, welcoming new Americans, and housing the vulnerable, the most vulnerable. And so, in joining the advisory committee, they asked me which of these three silos I would be most interested in working with. And so, my part is welcoming new Americans through the refugee program.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And I want to talk to you later about, just your inspiration for being part of this organization. But last and certainly not least, we have Khalefia Dungee. Khalefia, share with us kind of your connections with CCC.
Hello, my name is Khalefia Dungee. I am a resettlement program supervisor here with CCC. I have been with CCC since 2022, but I also was a partner working with through the health department working with
Hmm.
CCC, and is how I originally got connected with CCC. Um, I started off as a school liaison and now program supervisor. So I've been able to explore both worlds.
Lovely. Lovely. Well, why don't we rewind in time a little bit? And Samim, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us just kind of the history and the mission of Commonwealth Catholic Charities.
Yes, thank you. Well, Commonwealth Catholic Charities has been here for a very long time. We founded in 1923. In 2023, we celebrated being here for one century, basically. Our mission is simple: serving the most vulnerable. And
Hmm.
that we do by providing services to the refugees that we resettle and making sure we are there every step of the way to help them build their lives and get culturally integrated into the United States to finally become self-sufficient and achieve that American dream.
Beautifully put. Have uh, what has been your process in getting affiliated with Commonwealth Catholic Charities? Because it's my understanding that you were a client first before you became, I guess, a staff member of the organization.
Yes, thank you. And I'll try to keep it as simple and as short as I can. It's a long story.
Well,
Uh,
long stories are good. We've had a long show.
well, I was resettled. I came to the United States in 2016, and I was resettled here in Roanoke by Commonwealth Catholic Charities.
Do you mind
And
sharing where you were from?
I am from Afghanistan,
Uh-huh.
and I came through a program we call Special Immigrants Visa. And Special Immigrant Visa is a program that is designed to help those individuals, interpreters who worked with the U.S. government in Afghanistan to support their mission for a chance to s- get out of risk and have a safer life in the United States. And that's how, because of my work with the U.S. government in Afghanistan, I was given the opportunity to come to the United States in 2016.
So you were actively helping United States military contractors, et cetera, rebuild or attempt to rebuild Afghanistan, uh, and helping with translation services and whatnot. And at some point, did you feel as though your life was going to be at risk for having done that work?
That is correct. And
Hmm.
that's how I ended up requesting for, let's call it a safe haven, to be resettled to the United States.
Well, first of all, thank you for your service.
I appreciate it.
And uh, I know you've now been here for 10 years, but welcome to the United States. So share with us kind of how you got involved with, again, Commonwealth Catholic Charities and what services they actually provided for you here in the Roanoke area.
Sure. Well, upon arrival, I would start from the first thing that I was picked up from the airport by a case manager through Commonwealth Catholic Charities. We were taken to our housing, the apartment that was already secured for us, furnished, fridge full of food, and we were given that initial orientation of how the housing works in the United States. This is your fireplace. This is how you turn on your stove. And the initial information that everyone needs to have if you're coming from a different country, that some of these things are new for you. And of course, smoke detector was something very new for me. I wouldn't know if it's a camera or if it's a smoke detector unless I was told so. Um, and from there, the initial services began, Commonwealth Catholic Charities paid for, I would say, 6 months of my rent. Normally they paid 3 months, but because I was enrolled in a different program, and that program helped fund another 3 months of rent for me, and that was a big support because that support helped me find a job, have enough savings to eventually become self-sufficient and pay my rent after that. But the support didn't stop there. It was housing, it was cultural orientation, it was employability. Job search in the United States versus job search in Afghanistan is very different. I wouldn't have been able to do it unless I was taught how to do this. And then our educational goals, our career goals, our documentation, the initial social services support. These I wouldn't have been able to even comprehend how to do unless someone was there to hold my hand and do this. So that's how I got involved. Well, I shouldn't forget that I was gifted a car by Commonwealth Catholic Charities that helped me go to my work and come back. That was a big support. I think when I look back to 10 years ago, if I didn't have the support from Commonwealth Catholic Charities, I think I would be in a very different place. Not
Yeah.
a good place.
What were you thinking? And we're going to get to our other two guests here in a second, but I think this is kind of the heart of what Commonwealth Catholic Charities does. And so I really want to kind of uh, learn more of Samim's story here. So once again, we're joined here on Buzz for Good by Samim Noorzad with Commonwealth Catholic Charities, along with Beth Ruffing and Khalefia Dungee, as we talk about and prepare for the June 17th event at the Grandin Theater called Real Hope. And that's REEL Hope, in terms of the movie that they'll be showing there. But Samim, I mean, what are you thinking when you are boarding that plane in Afghanistan and then finding yourself landing eventually in Roanoke? Put us in that space.
Sure. And when I talk about this, I talk about this from two different perspectives. Me, when I was boarding on that plane, I already spoke English. I had a bachelor's in law and political science. I was very tech savvy. I worked with the US government. So in my heart, I was very comfortable to travel to the United States. I had no fear, nothing in my mind, because in my head, I said, why should I be worried? I speak the language. I am tech savvy. I have education. I go to the United States. Everything is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I got to the plane, we got to the United States. I think my first encounter was in DC airport, where I was told, because I already spoke English, I was like, you know where to go. So follow this gate number, you'll get to your gate. And I was following it. And this was my first time being in an airport. And this was my first time, of course, that I traveled out of by a plane. So at the DC airport, I'm following these signs. I get to this area where I'm lost. I see a glass in front of me, and that's what the arrow is pointing to. But I'm like, where am I supposed to go? And that's where things shifted, because I was not sure if asking for help is appropriate. And it's airport, everyone is busy, everyone is in a rush. So I went to one person, I said, excuse me. They were like, sorry. I was like, oh, maybe this is not a good idea. Maybe people here do not really like it when you go and interrupt them. So I went to another person. I was like, excuse me, can I ask you a question? And this person was in a rush. I was like, oh my God, I am lost. I don't know what to do. But that's where things shifted. I was like, no, Samim, you haven't gotten it together yet. I think there's a long way to go. Well, eventually someone helped me out. Turns out it was just a glass door. The train comes, you get on that shuttle, and it takes you to your gate. But I didn't know that. And then talking about the expectations when you're outside, and you always watch these Hollywood movies. You're in Los Angeles and Chicago, New York, all these skyscrapers. In my head, I'm thinking maybe I'll go and I'll have an apartment on the 100th floor of some skyscraper, and everything will be beautiful. And as we're flying through Roanoke, and I'm looking down like, I don't see any skyscrapers here. Where am I going to?
With all due respect to the Wells Fargo Tower,
Yes.
not quite the skyscraper that you were envisioning. Yeah.
Right. So, and again, that's where, as we got to the United States, turns out some of those expectations were just wrong expectations that I had. Life is different. Uh, it's not as we thought it would be. It wasn't as comfortable that I thought I would be. I had I mean, like everyone else, there is a learning curve, there's an adjustment period. Um, and eventually, again, with the help of Commonwealth Catholic Charities, we got through those phases, and the cultural integration and orientation that provides information, I think, was very helpful. But that is my perspective. And I think when I talk about my perspective, I always talk about refugees who have never been to school, probably have never worked, who have lived their entire life in refugee camps. Now, how would their experience be? What would their fears be? What would their challenges be when they
Yeah.
enter that airport and they're thinking about establishing and starting a life from zero in the United States? So, and that's what keeps me going when I work with refugee resettlement at Commonwealth Catholic Charities. And again, when I wasn't with Commonwealth Catholic Charities, I was still working with refugee resettlement. And I think that's what gives me the purpose that I want to be there as much as possible and work with these individuals because I have seen it and I have seen different perspective of it.
Hmm. Beautifully put. Beautifully put. I think the biggest obstacle, from my understanding, is the language that some people have. You already had that taken care of, but that's we've done a lot of work with Blue Ridge Literacy through the years, and what a phenomenal organization that is, helping refugees better integrate into the U.S. Well, once again, joined here on Buzz for Good by Samim Noorzad, Beth Ruffing, and Khalefia Dungee with Commonwealth Catholic Charities. And we've been hearing Samim's beautiful, phenomenal story of his uh, immigration from Afghanistan, where he was a interpreter for the U.S. military and contractors in an attempt to, as they attempted to rebuild Afghanistan following the invasion, to now here in Roanoke, where he works for Commonwealth Catholic Charities. And I wanted to take a moment to shift to Beth Ruffing, who is a volunteer with Commonwealth Catholic Charities. And Beth, kind of, how did you and why did you get involved with this organization?
I was asked, which is usually what happens when you volunteer,
Yep.
and I found it an incredibly well-run, mission-based organization. It was an easy yes
Mhm.
to be able to be part of this.
And it's
So
it's affiliated, obviously, or a part of the Catholic Diocese of Richmond.
that's correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So to piggyback on Samim's story, the next kind of step is self-actualization or self-fulfillment. You've reached all the Maslow's hierarchy of helping refugees with their food, their shelter, transportation. So then what's next? So there's a program that I'm involved in. It's called My VA. It's a mentorship program for 18 to 24-year-olds. And what we do is we bring them to the next level. What is it that you want now that you're here? Now that you're housed and clothed and have a job, what do you want?
And you say it's
And
my
so,
my VA,
yes,
as in Virginia, or
MYVA,
NYVA?
correct.
Okay,
MYVA,
got it. Thank you.
my. Yep. Um, so my family that I'm working with is from Zimbabwe. And there's two young ladies that are in that 18 to 24-year-old range that I've been helping. Believe it or not, one of the hardest things for us to do initially was to get a driver's license.
Hmm.
DMV is so arduous and difficult. And when you have spotty documentation or not everything that they want, it's really, really hard to get past that obstacle.
Yeah, it's
So
hard
we spend
enough.
many,
It's hard enough for people who were born and raised here to navigate the DMV.
absolutely,
I can't imagine somebody from Zimbabwe.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And just the wait time. I mean, they're overworked like any other agency, and I don't fault them for it, but it's difficult getting
yeah.
through DMV. But, once we did that, the next thing was insurance, purchasing a car, budgeting. Then our next big leap was attending college. And they actually have a contract on a home now. So home ownership. So past those initial needs or wants or aspirations to fulfill the American dream. And
Mhm.
that's kind of my little piece of the puzzle.
Well, it probably is worth noting that you have a banking background
Right?
that certainly
Yes,
helps navigate all these issues.
absolutely. I have 40 years of banking experience. So doing the budgeting, the credit score analysis, which is huge for anybody, whether you're, 10 or 90, it's
Hmm.
all important to know where your money goes. It controls really your life if you don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
And so that, to your point, that's where I think my expertise has helped out in this particular aspect.
I know that your family has learned a lot from you. What have you learned from them?
Oh my gosh, hope,
Hmm.
uh, perseverance, determination, consistency. It is in such a divided world to see people come in and want to be here and who love this country as much as we do. It is absolutely uh, refreshing and
Hmm.
hopeful.
Hmm. And if you would just kind of share with, a lot of people tragically are very suspicious of immigrants,
Right.
more so
Right.
over the last few years. This didn't used to be the case, but it is now.
I
What
agree.
what 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 do you tell somebody who maybe expresses some reservations about uh, our country being open to immigrants?
you know, it takes some time to meet them. They have so much to offer us that we fall short in recognizing. I mean, not only just skill sets, but just a fresh, healthy perspective on what's important in life, which is, the giving, the loving, the being part of something bigger than yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Well, again, joined here on Buzz for Good by three fine folks from Commonwealth Catholic Charities as they get ready to celebrate on June 17th at the Grandin Theater an event called Real Hope. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit. We have one more person to chat with here and to meet here on the show, and that is Khalefia Dungee. Khalefia, share with us your Commonwealth Catholic Charities story.
So, I have a background in the medical field, and I worked at Virginia Premier Medical Home. This was anywhere between 2015 to 2020. And I was a front office medical associate lead. And I remember one day sitting up front at the front desk and having either it was a volunteer or someone that worked with CCC come in with a client and assist the client in getting an appointment set up and scheduled so that they could get health care,
Mhm.
and get established with the PCP. And I was like, that was my first encounter where I had to use the interpreter line. And I was like, this seems like a pretty cool job. I think I could do this. Um, and so eventually, years had passed and came along, and there was an opportunity with the health department for a refugee office specialist. And from there, I started working with CCC and interviewing their clients and going over health history with their clients. Then I met Samim, and there I started working with Samim and other CCC employees closely. And then somehow I had an aha moment, and I was just like, you know what? I like doing this.
Mhm.
And I was just like, but I want to do a career change. So I ventured out and interviewed with CCC, and Samim was actually the one to interview me. And I joined the team and, did a whole change back in 2022, which became my new start to my new career and joining CCC and working with refugee and immigrant families. And I just wanted to make an impact and help people.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Yes. So,
beautiful.
I've been here since.
Okay.
So, it's just, it's very impactful to work with families and learn their different walks of life, but also to help them get established here and watch them grow. It's just like a seed being planted, watching them grow and bloom into something beautiful. And actually knowing that I had some input in that, which is great. Um, so
Lovely,
yeah, that's a
lovely.
little bit about me.
Well, thank you, Khalefia.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, and so Commonwealth Catholic Charities is preparing for an event on June the 17th at the Grandin Theater titled Real Hope. That's REEL, Hope, which I hear the word real and I'm thinking, okay, there's some kind of film associated with this and especially being at the Grandin Theater. So, Samim, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us what is happening at the Grandin Theater on June the 17th and how can people get involved with that?
Thank you very much. So yes, Real Hope, it's a free movie night. We are doing this in honor of the World Refugee Day. The event, as you mentioned, is on June 17th
You, you
at
said
7 p.m.
you said World Refugee Day.
Yes,
Okay, very good. And that's the night of June 17th. Okay, go ahead.
correct. And this will be in the Grandin Theater at 7 p.m. It's free tickets. Donations is always appreciated. That's what supports our mission. And all the proceeds from this event will be going to the refugee resettlement services, but also a scholarship that is being managed by the Commonwealth Catholic Charities, and that's we call it Indari Giri Miriam Scholarship Funds. So all the proceedings will go to these two different programs.
And what does the scholarship what does it fund? What is its purpose?
The scholarship, yes, the scholarship funds the tuition for students with refugee backgrounds.
Mm.
And depending on how much information you would like me to share about the scholarship, I'm happy to do it. Uh, but
Please.
to not to lose track of the movie night, it's I'll just make sure I cover that a little bit more. We will be the movie is called Peace by Chocolate. It is story of a Syrian refugee. It's based on true story, by the way. It's a
Okay.
story of a Syrian refugee family who resettles in Canada. And as they resettle in Canada, it illustrates and it shows us the stories, the struggles, the challenges they encounter in navigating new life, in integrating into this whole new country and culture. And we also see the positive impact that they will eventually make and how they shift their life from day one with all those challenges to achieving their dream, which is having their business or pursuing their educational goals. And it kind of shows us a true life experience of what a refugee goes from. And it also shows us what we mean when we talk about refugees being resilient, refugees being strong. And I think this is a very exciting opportunity for participants to learn more. And we will have a Q&A session after the movie, and there will be a panel of speakers also that will talk.
Lovely. And I was honored to be invited to be the moderator for that panel. So I'm very much looking forward to this. So once again, uh, if you don't care about necessarily learning about refugees, you can come and see me on June the 17th.
Right.
at the Grandin Theater for the Commonwealth Catholic Charities Real Hope event, where they will be showing a free screening of the movie Peace by Chocolate, based on the true story of a Syrian refugee relocating to Canada. And so very much looking forward to that. It's a fundraiser, so you don't have to make a contribution, though donations certainly would be welcome to support the refugee programs for Commonwealth Catholic Charities, as well as the scholarship program that provides tuition assistance for people with a refugee background to pursue higher education. You are listening to my conversation with Commonwealth Catholic Charities, and you can learn more about all the nonprofits that we feature through Buzz, whether on our Emmy Award-nominated TV show Buzz or our radio show podcast, Buzz for Good, on our website, buzzforgood.com, or our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok, all at Buzz for Good. And if you know of a nonprofit in need of some buzz, please contact me through one of these channels so I can reach out to them and figure out a way to give them some much needed buzz. But for now, back to the show. Beth, I'd like to turn the conversation back to you. More just kind of your reasoning for and inspiration for being part of Commonwealth Catholic Charities. Commonwealth Catholic Charities, as we noted earlier, is a part of the Catholic Diocese of Richmond, and you are Catholic.
Yes.
And what is how did the two intersect as far as the Catholic side of this and the refugee side of things? What's the common linkage there in your perspective?
Helping the most vulnerable, which is certainly gospel teachings. The whole Catholic Church has always been focused on the most vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And there's several silos, like I mentioned earlier: children and families, the unhoused, and then refugees or new Americans. So I think it dovetails nicely into the church's mission of seeing and helping your brother mm-hmm. in faith. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you were talking about how you were asked to be, on mm-hmm. this, but, you're always free to say no. But obviously there was something within the mission that inspired you to say yes. And I would assume, knowing you, that what that inspiration has only burned brighter and hotter, since you said that yes, for the work that you're doing. What's so moving about this work from your perspective?
I've been involved with a lot of different nonprofits over my career as a banker, as well as an individual and as a Catholic. What I have found that Commonwealth Catholic Charities not only is it a heartfelt mission, everybody who I have met through the organization feels it to the core. They are in it, 100%. Also, Catholic Charities has been around, I think we mentioned 1923. I mean, it's been around a long time. So we've done a lot of things well, and what we haven't done well, we've backed away from, just by the pure history of the organization. So having that kind of tenure, the organization itself, the mission, the people that I've met, they just do things right, and it's refreshing, and it's easy to be part of an organization that does things right.
Yeah. Again, joined here on Buzz for Good that was Beth Ruffing, along with Khalefia Dungee and Samim Noorzad with Commonwealth Catholic Charities. And looking back over, we've been producing Buzz episodes for 6 years, and I've got to say, what I love about nonprofits, and I say this all the time, is that, nonprofit organizations are involved with every sector of life, from the environment to children's education, to arts and culture, to animal welfare, and refugees and immigrants. And I've got to say, probably the most inspiring and impactful sector of nonprofit life that I have been fortunate to kind of walk alongside these last 6 years has been the immigrant and refugee sector, if you want to call it that. For the episodes we did on Blue Ridge Literacy, Blacksburg Refugee Partnership, here with Commonwealth Catholic Charities. One of my favorites was one we did last fall with an organization called Elamisha Kakuma. That is, if you haven't heard of it, Kakuma Refugee Camp in Kenya is a refugee camp of about 300,000 people from Somalia and Sudan and other war-torn places of Africa who made their way to Kakuma Refugee Camp. And unfortunately, once you get to that camp, they can't go home, but they're also not allowed to really leave the camp to work in Kenya. And so they are trapped there. But this organization arose from it, from created by these various refugees from Kakuma who were able to get scholarships to universities around the world. And so they have a strong partnership with Virginia Tech. There's several students now from the Kakuma refugee camp who are at Virginia Tech. And there was somebody who made a disparaging comment about refugees on one of my Facebook posts about Elamisha Kakuma. And I replied, if every college campus in the United States was filled with students like these refugees, our country would be so much better because these are exceptional, exceptional people who, we only benefit from. Anyway, that's just it's my show, so I get to get on my little soapbox every now and then.
You're exactly right. You're
but
exactly right.
but it's I mean it's I'm honored that they consider the United States a destination because we are blessed because of them. All right. Anyway, Khalefia, I would love to hear from you. Maybe some of the various work that you do for Commonwealth Catholic Charities. You were mentioning before we started recording that there are various programs that you supervise, and so I'd love to hear more about those and how they fit in with the overall mission of Commonwealth Catholic Charities.
I work with the RIO program that is known for refugee health and outreach.
And you said it's Rio R.
It's RHEO, so it's Refugee Health, Education, and Outreach.
Okay.
That is our health program. That program, we help our clients get set up with PCPs. So, getting them a primary care physician, continuing their health, making sure that they're, healthy,
Hmm.
but also educating them.
Yeah. Just like Beth, you were talking about the DMV. I mean, our healthcare system is, again, so complicated for us who were born and raised here.
Right.
I can't imagine what it's like for, someone from another country, not only navigating like, where to go to see certain things, but then the health insurance piece of it or the Medicare, the Medicaid, it's what a challenging space that has got to be.
It is very challenging, and especially, sometimes we're limited on the providers here. So, sometimes, there may be a wait list, or, those providers may not be accepting new clients at this time. So, trying to get them connected with providers that are also accepting their insurance, but also getting them connected to providers that are accepting new clients. And, you actually mentioned something that is a heavy topic right now with Medicaid.
Mm.
We're going into the changes with our current administration, and we're having some changes where some of our clients will be losing Medicaid
Mm.
at the end of this year, and there will be some changes to that. So now we're going to be, venturing out into this new phase of trying to find our clients, providers that or clinics that can provide free care
Hmm.
or care at a sliding scale fee or rate for them. Um, so our clients are going to be impacted tremendously by the changes,
Hmm.
the upcoming changes.
I'm so sorry. What other programs do you supervise?
Um, I supervise also VERSAP. It's Virginia Refugee Student Achievement Program. So with that program, we get our students, our new families that arrive. We do an orientation with our families, our parents, and our students, and we teach them about the American school system. Of course, school systems may be a little bit different in their country than here. So, we teach them kind of like the do's and the don'ts and how we are in school. Some schools are, in their country maybe, co-ed. Well, not co-ed, but, girls in one section, boys in another. Well,
Hmm.
we're teaching them now, everybody is together. So, teaching them that, the girls learn with the boys. Um, we're, teaching them about, how they can, reach out to their school administrators and their teachers and go to parent teacher conferences and be a part of their students' educational path.
Hmm.
So we're doing that. Also, the next program that I supervise is My VA, which is Mentoring Youth in Virginia. And with that program, it's for students that are ages 16 to age 24. So that's our high school students, but also our students that have graduated high school but are looking to do higher education or going into, trying to figure out their career and their next steps after high school.
Hmm.
So there we're, still doing job readiness training, but we're also getting them connected to the colleges and universities in the area and getting them to be a product of their environment and seeing what's out there for them.
Lovely. Lovely. Uh, Again, joined here on Buzz for Good by Commonwealth Catholic Charities, Samim Noorzad, Beth Ruffing, and Khalefia Dungee, as we begin to prepare for the June 17th event at the Grandin Theater in Roanoke called Real Hope, a movie night that will feature a free screening of a movie called Peace by Chocolate, about a real life story of a Syrian refugee family moving to Canada. And then there'll be a panel discussion after that where you can learn more about Commonwealth Catholic Charities. Uh, I know that the last couple of years have been incredibly challenging for anyone involved in working in refugee and immigrant space. Um, Rather than starting off with our opinions about it, Samim, can you share with us, exactly the facts of how the programs have been impacted, funding wise, restrictions wise, et cetera?
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, let me start with the shift in number of refugees allowed to be admitted to the United States, for example. We were at 125,000 per year based on presidential determination that we were allowed to have 125,000 refugees per year resettle in the United States. We are currently at 7,500. So I can't even put it in percentage, from 125,000 to 7,500 refugees.
Wow.
That's the biggest impact. And as a result of this, so many refugee resettlement organizations across the nation have struggled with funding, of course, the way refugee resettlement works is you are funded based on the number of refugees that you are able to admit. And if the number of refugees are lower, organizations have to take some very difficult decision. The previous organization that I worked with, and I was again the refugee resettlement program manager there, the entire refugee resettlement department shut down. They had to let go of all employees completely. There was no
Mm.
refugee resettlement department there anymore because of the loss of funding.
Hmm.
Uh, Coming back to Commonwealth Catholic Charities, by the way, I have been with CCC again since January. So it has been, I'm on my almost 120 days mark there. And I can see when I left Commonwealth Catholic Charities in 2023, considering to now, of course, organizations have to take those tough decisions. In the meantime, making sure that we address the needs of the population that we already serve. So currently, the way we are operating is we are not receiving new refugees to enter the city of Roanoke. So the population that we are serving with are individuals that we have resettled in the past.
Uh-huh.
The program that funds us, the Office of New American and the Office of Refugee Settlement, uh, that program helps us work with any refugee family who have been in the United States for 5 years. So anyone who, as of now, May 13, let's put it this way, anyone who have been in the United States since June of 2021 are still eligible for our services. And those services can be any of the services that Khalefia just mentioned. And
Okay.
I supervise the Employment Services Department. So they would qualify for any service offerings that our organization can offer. But again, capacity wise, we are smaller than we were, uh, and funding wise, it's very, I would say it's very inconsistent. We don't know what our future might look like, what next fiscal year is going to look like.
Mhm.
So yes, this is a very tough time for nonprofit organizations in general, but refugee resettlement organizations mainly.
Yeah. And then on top of that, Khalefia mentions that Medicaid funding for refugees is going to be cut at the end of this year, which I was not aware of that, which is going to make it even more challenging for uh, you to be able to serve your community.
And that is correct. So
Mhm.
SNAP benefits have already been terminated for some of our refugee families. So SNAP has already been terminated. It's continuously being terminated for refugees who do not have a green card yet. So to
Mm.
clarify, if you have a green card, you would qualify for Medicaid and for SNAP. But if you are with an employment authorization card, which is the initial document that a refugee receives when they enter United States, uh, they would not qualify for Medicaid and they do not qualify for SNAP, and their SNAP are actively being terminated.
Mm.
So, what we are doing as an organization to prepare for this, again, on Khalefia's team, we have done a tremendous amount of outreach, informing our families about the impacts to be prepared for that and not to be caught by surprise where your Medicaid is ending and you have a lot of medical needs to address. So there has been a lot of outreach on Khalefia's team and reaching out to our families, informing them about these changes to prepare for. What I am doing from my department in terms of employment, uh, we are really encouraging employment. We have families who probably were able to survive with one individual working in the family, but with these changes, I think it would be very difficult for them to be able to afford, and with how inflation is raising. So we are really trying to encourage multiple family members to start employment. Again, in the past, we have always done that. We have
Yeah.
always encouraged employment. But now is a very serious time for families to really consider because we do not force anyone to work or not. Our goal is to encourage, but to support. If
Mhm.
anyone needs employment related services, if anyone needs our help to find them jobs based on their skills, based on what they can or able to do, we do that. So there's a big focus on informing everyone.
Well, and which brings its own challenges, as anyone who, in a working family knows. If you have both parents working, then what about childcare? Who takes care of your kids, and that's another expense. And so between Medicare or Medicaid and SNAP benefits and reduced services, and then the need for employment. I mean, all these. I can't imagine the world that our refugees are having to navigate. But, thankfully there's Commonwealth Catholic Charities to provide, some assistance along the way. We're coming to an end of our conversation here. I hope that by now, if you've been listening in, you are inspired to at least do something to learn more and even support Commonwealth Catholic Charities. Go to the website, cccofva.org. So Commonwealth Catholic Charities of Virginia, cccofva.org. Come to their event on June the 17th at the Grandin Theater, where Real Hope, it's a free screening. Of course, contributions and donations will be appreciated to learn more about this organization, which is in an even more challenging situation these days. And maybe we'll kind of end perhaps with Beth as the one who has volunteered her time to, help these refugees get resettled here in the United States. You talked about how inspiring these folks are who are coming to our country at a time when our country is not welcoming them and supporting them as we once did. What kind of keeps you going and all during this time? I mean, is there some outrage? Is there some just perseverance? What comes to your mind in how we are handling this situation right now?
I think if we can take anything away from the refugee population, is that their love of our country and their perseverance. And we can only expect ourselves to be as committed to their success by knowing who they are and persevering, getting to know what their challenges are, and to be able to help them in any way we can.
And Samim, as the newest member of our country on this little call here, your last words.
My last word, I think, would be, do not be afraid. Research, get to know your neighbors, and I think you will love once you really get out of what you hear on the news and really get yourself exposure to the people that we serve. And I think you will fall in love with them. And I think it might change your idea about who refugees really are.
Beautifully put. Thank you so much for all three of you, Samim Noorzad, Beth Ruffing, and Khalefia Dungee, for coming on to Buzz for Good and sharing the inspiring work of Commonwealth Catholic Charities as you prepare for your June 17th event at the Grandin Theater called Real Hope, and Real Hope indeed. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And that was my conversation with Commonwealth Catholic Charities. So many thanks to them for being such a buzz for good in our community. Now, as we approach the end of today's show, as I mentioned at the outset, we just premiered a new episode of Buzz in my home state of Alabama, featuring the nonprofit Hank Poor Foundation, which provides adaptive recreational devices for people confined to a wheelchair. Hank Poor is among the most inspiring people you will ever meet. And so I would like to share a little bit about him and the foundation's work through this clip from my show. How do you measure a human's ability? Is it the strength of your muscles, the speed you can run, or the power of your voice? If so, Hank Poor is disabled indeed. Born with cerebral palsy, Hank is confined to a wheelchair. He communicates through an eye tracker iPad and an iPhone he taps with his toe. But if it's measured by the size of your heart, Hank Poor is off the charts and more able than most. And the foundation he has created, we are honored to feature on today's episode of Buzz.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. I'm Kathy Poor, a Tuscaloosa resident. I am Hank's mother.
Hey, I am Hank Poor, and I also live in Tuscaloosa. And I'm a director of the Hank Poor Foundation. And then I'm a youth consultant for children's rehab services.
The youngest of her 4 children, Hank was a routine pregnancy but a complicated birth resulted in cerebral palsy. Physical and speech disabilities were evident early on, but so were a strong sense of humor and determination. One random weekend when Hank was in middle school, Kathy took him to Atlanta to attend the Ability Expo and got connected with the family of Kevin Inners, who also had cerebral palsy but had become a cycling athlete through the Kyle Peace Foundation.
I've always been a runner, and I think we had started pushing Hank in some races just in a wheelchair and a jogger, but I knew he could do more. And so when I saw these videos of Kevin riding a bike, I thought, we got to do this. And they invited us to Atlanta. We met, and Kevin had recently gotten an upgrade on his bike, so they gave us Hank's first bike, which was Kevin's old bike, and also got us connected with a foundation in Atlanta called the Kyle Peace Foundation. And they do all sorts of races with adapted athletes. So Hank did his first race. It was the Publix Half Marathon in Atlanta with a team of runners, and he cycled and they ran beside him, and that just started the whole thing.
The bike led to Hank participating in numerous marathons across the country, but the transformative event came in 2019 when Hank had the opportunity to be part of a 4-day, 158-mile team ride over the 10,000-foot Kepler Pass in Colorado.
We didn't have an appropriate bike for him to do it. So we had to do a lot of research and found a bike that would work. But it was $6,000, over $6,000. And just, we're just fortunate to be in a situation where we could afford to pay for that bike. And it just kind of, as he was out in Colorado enjoying the scenery, enjoying the camaraderie with his team that went out there with him, it just kind of struck me, probably more than Hank at that moment, that it was just really a gift that was unique, that we could afford to give him these opportunities, and that the vast majority of people living with disability, whether it's families or adults themselves, are really trying to figure out how to get a shower chair, trying to get their necessities. And so we thought, what a great way to give back to the community is to give people recreational equipment. Not only do they exercise, they get outside, they get a community. And, most people with disabilities, you just don't see them because they don't get out as much. And it's just had remarkable value in Hank's life. I can't even tell you the difference it's made in Hank's life to have that community around him.
Insurance and Medicaid will pay for a standard wheelchair, which is fine from getting from point A to point B, unless point B is up a mountain or on the beach or to your favorite hunting spot in the woods. As Austin Rappoon learned after suffering a spinal cord injury in 2017 when his deer stand collapsed and he fell to the earth.
It's all that I live for. If I couldn't hunt or fish, then I have nothing left here. One of the first questions I asked one of the doctors if I'd be able to shoot again, and he said no, and I took it as a personal challenge. I'm going to do it whether I can or can't. Before I got the chair, I didn't even want to go anywhere. It was such a pain trying to get to the water, go in the woods. It wasn't fun for me. It was more stressful, worrying about tipping over, getting stuck. So I didn't even want to go out and do stuff anymore. I just wanted to sit around.
Austin tried in vain through GoFundMe and other fundraisers to cover the $23,000 price tag of a track chair. Then he came across Hank Poor.
Very grateful for them for helping me out. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to do half of what I do now if it wasn't for receiving that chair.
And that'll do it for today's Buzz for Good. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you will stay connected with me throughout the week on our website, buzzforgood.com, as well as our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok, all at Buzz4Good. And until next time, I hope you continue being a buzz for good in the community you hold dear and supporting the nonprofits that work tirelessly each and every day to make your community an even better place to live. Bye now.